डिस्क्रिमिनेटरी की नहीं भाई, ये तो काफ़ी यूनिक चीज़ है। मतलब इसका यूज़ केस क्या है? हुँ, हुँ। हुँ, हुँ। ओके, ओके। सो हुँ, हुँ। अच्छा। अ, ओके, सो लाइक मतलब एक की होगी जो लाइक ओके, सो लेट्स से 4 तरह के डॉक्यूमेंट्स हैं, 4 डिफरेंट डॉक्यूमेंट्स हैं, वो एक ही कलेक्शन में रह सकते हैं इस की के थ्रू। हुँ, हुँ। ओके, 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 ओके। इसके हुँ, हुँ। अगर सारे ही डॉक्यूमेंट्स हमें सपोर्ट करने होंगे तब तो हमें अपेंड ही करना पड़ेगा ना, रिप्लेस तो नहीं कर पाएँगे फिर। ठीक है। हुँ, हुँ। हुँ, हुँ। ओके, सो ये तो मतलब उसी टाइप का हो गया ना, लेट्स से कि मुझे 4 तरह के यूज़र बनाने हैं, तो मैं चारों का अलग स्कीमा बनाने की जगह एक ही मॉडल में चारों यूज़र को रखता हूँ और स्कीमा अलग-अलग रहेगा, कलेक्शन एक रहेगा। या फिर मतलब हाँ, मतलब वही है लाइक थोड़ी एनालॉजी है उस टाइप की, बट इसके बारे में देखना पड़ेगा। मतलब ये मोंगो मोंगो का ही है, राइट? ओके, ठीक है, एक बार देखते हैं इसको, देन आई गेस कुछ बता पाऊँगा इसके ऊपर। लाइक करेंटली तो मतलब कि यही आइडिया है कि लेट्स से अगर डॉक्टर है, पेशेंट है, या फिर कोई और यूज़र आया, स्टाफ आ गया, तो उसको डिफरेंशिएट करने के लिए वी हैव मतलब किसी कोई फील्ड रख लेंगे एंड उस फील्ड पे हुँ, हुँ, ठीक है। हुँ, 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 ओके। हुँ, 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 ओके। हुँ, 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 ओके, ओके, ठीक है, देखते हैं इसको भी, ठीक है? मैं पता करता हूँ, ठीक है? देन वी कैन डिस्कस मोर ऑन इट। अभी तो मतलब इतना ही आइडिया मुझे लग रहा है कि ये की एज़ अ जैसे ही कोई क्वेरी पास कर रहे होते हैं, लाइक डॉक्यूमेंट्स में डिफरेंशिएट करने के लिए तो कुछ पास करेंगे जो स्कीमा में डिफरेंशिएट करेगा। तो ये चीज़ मुझे क्लैरिटी हो रही है। इसके अलावा तो मुझे देखना पड़ेगा कि एक्चुअली इम्प्लीमेंट कैसे होगा ये। ओके, ठीक है, ठीक है। मैं देखता हूँ, देन आई वुड गिव सम मोर कॉन्टेक्स्ट। अभी के लिए लेट्स सी व्हाट वी हैव अचीव टिल नाउ, और आगे देखते हैं व्हाट कैन बी एडेड इन दिस। ओके, सो एक बार आउट्स को गो थ्रू करते हैं, उसी से पता चल जाएगा हाउ मच वी हैव अचीव्ड। सो technically every endpoint, like every type of endpoint has been created now. Like admin है, doctor है, patient है, then we have the appointment to be created and report to be generated. ओके, बेस्ड ऑन दिस रिपोर्ट में हमारे पास एक जनरेट है बेस्ड ऑन द अपॉइंटमेंट आईडी। ठीक है, सो ये अपॉइंटमेंट आईडी हमने पास करी है, सो आई नीड टू चेक इफ ये हम यूज़ कर रहे हैं कि नहीं अभी तक। ओके, कमिंग टू द पेशेंट। सो पेशेंट में हमने लॉगिन साइन अप प्रोफाइल हो गए, सो नथिंग स्पेशल हेयर, नथिंग स्पेशल हेयर। Okay, then we have our appointment, like booking for the appointment. Then we have fetching with the appointment ID, हम उसको fetch कर सकते हैं, status set कर सकते हैं। Okay, then we had the scheduling of the appointment. Okay, some user ID की help से एक appointment schedule कर सकते हैं based on whatever doctor he chooses. Okay, so these are the things we will be checking. Okay, so we had a issue last day. Issue ये था कि set status should be, like technically if we see, so it should be a patch request, right? ये थोड़ा पैच टाइप का रिक्वेस्ट होना चाहिए था, बट वी हैव टू गो विद द वर्क अराउंड। हमें इसको गेट रिक्वेस्ट बनाना पड़ा, बिकॉज with normal anchor link, like anchor tag or form, we cannot hit that patch request. So what's the idea? How can I make a patch request then? From our views, I need to set the status of appointment. Okay, so मुझे appointment की status set करनी है, and I want the status to be either accepted or rejected, something that sort of. So what can be the idea? एंकर टैग हमने यूज़ कर लिया अभी के लिए, बट ठीक है, यू कैनॉट सेंड अ पैच रिक्वेस्ट फ्रॉम दिस वन, सो एनी गेसेस व्हाट कैन बी डन? ओके, लेट्स फर्स्ट चेंज इट। ये तो भी पैच करके देखेंगे इसको कैसे करना है। ठीक है, लेट मी ऑल्सो रीस्टार्ट द सर्वर। सो लेट्स डू वन मोर चेक फॉर आवर एंड पॉइंट्स। ठीक है, इसको देखते हैं। सो दिस इज वर्ड द फर्स्ट थिंग विल डिस्कस एंड देन आगे बढ़ेंगे। ओके, सी डी एच एम एस। ओके, दिस इज नॉट अ फाइल और डायरेक्टरी। ओके, so okay, npm start. Okay, let's come to localhost 8000 and let's go to mongodb. Okay, okay, guys, I shared the repository link with you, all of you guys, like that. Okay, okay, so okay, so if someone does not have, please tell. Okay, I will share it again, but if you have, like, okay, I'll do the changes and push it, so you can just go through it, all of the code. Okay, whatever is going on. Now the point is, we want to hit a patch request to this one. Okay, to change the appointment, like change the status of appointment. Okay, let's see how we can do this. But before this, let's have a login. So I will just do a login from here. Come to HMS, then okay, so changing the appointment status. So let's first do a doctor login. Okay, so let's pick this doctor. So we have all type of login here, right? The patient admin and the doctor login. Okay, so let's try to do the doctor login and give the password here. Open the network tab so that we can see the things. Okay, and then let's hit submit. Okay, so we are getting the data over here. Okay, now we are getting the email. Okay, the name of the doctor is here. Then we are getting if there is an appointment. Okay, so there is an appointment, either I accept it or reject it. Then I have the generate report. Okay, so I can generate report, positive or negative. but we are okay. So this is also being duplicated, which should not be the case. Double E8, and okay, so these are different ones. Okay, okay, makes sense. So 6.2, and this is FD. If we check the URL, okay, so FD and I 980, right? Okay, so which one is okay? We need to work on this one also so that we can have a clear view. So doctor is able to visualize all the data it has, right? So it has all the data with it. So let's do one more thing. So doctor dot find appointment EGS. We are sending the doctor. We are sending the doctor and the patient ID. So this is appointment page. Okay, and also as soon as I log in, so then the doctor is getting this page. So as soon as I log in, so I'm getting into the doctor profile, and here I'm getting the user ID. Okay, and with the help of user ID, I'm doing find by ID for the doctor and finding all the appointments I have and populating the patient. ठीक है. सो अभी यूज़र में डॉक्टर है हमारे पास, यूज़र टाइप में डॉक्टर है और अपॉइंटमेंट्स है. सो इस डॉक्टर से रिलेटेड सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन हमारे पास है, इसके अपॉइंटमेंट्स हैं, where we are populating the patient, and then we are rendering profile.ejs. Okay, so user type में doctor, so this is what being done. So let appointment equals to appointment, then we have the patient email, appointment status, patient email, appointment status, then we have the generate report thing. Okay. Mm, okay. Okay. So we are just looping over it. Do we have any other detail? Okay. Not for now. So appointment dot patient dot email is required status, and then generate report. Okay. Let's see. So is this the same thing we are getting? Okay. So this is the profile. Then we are getting the patient name. We are getting the status, and then we are getting accept or reject. Then we are getting generate report. Oh, okay. Makes sense. So this and these are the one. Okay, this and these are the one, and this and these are the one. Okay, so let me put a heading before this also. So appointment, appointment. Okay, appointment, and then we have this. Let's do a quick refresh. So we are getting this appointment and generating report against that appointment. Okay. So the point is, now currently if I click on accept appointment, this seems to be accepted. Okay, this seems to be accepted. But what we want to achieve here is, if we just check this one, so it is not the profile. We see that set status is there, and with help of set status, accepted is there, and we are making a get request. But what about patch request and all those kind of request? The point is, we have anchor tag to make get request, form to do this. Anyways, guys, we can hit a patch request, or we can do a patch request. Can I use the fetch API? So instead of saying this, like we'll use this same URL. That's not the point. Okay, the point is, instead of having this anchor tag over here, what we will exactly do is, we'll create buttons. Okay, so we'll create functions. So and that will be triggered when we want to set the appointment. So let's create a function, set appointment. So this is one more way to make the request. Okay, so learning full stack will require you both the things. Okay, so how you create the controller and how you make the request. ठीक है, so you हमने कंट्रोलर ऑलरेडी हमने देखा कि हाउ टू अप्रोच विद द कंट्रोलर्स. ठीक है, पैरेलली वी हैव टू सी हाउ वी विल बी बिल्डिंग आर फ्रंट एंड, ठीक है, फ्रंट एंड कैसे बना रहे होंगे, कब रिक्वेस्ट करना है, कहाँ पे एंकर टैग होगा, ये सारी चीज़ें भी हमें करनी पड़ेगी इफ़ यू आर डेवलपिंग like full stack, right? Okay, for the function, we have to write change status. Okay, to be more precise, change appointment status, and here, okay, so in case of here, so we will call this function from here. Okay, it will have the status. Okay, so how will you use the fetch API? Let's see this. We'll say that fetch. Okay, so we'll say that fetch, then we will need the URL which is same as this one. Okay, so the same URL same as this one. The status will be accepted or rejected based on whatever we supply over here. Okay, so this is what we will be using when we create our React application separately. Okay, so when we'll study React, we'll be doing something similar to this. Okay, so we do not have EGS there. Okay, so we cannot pass into response dot render. फिर response dot render काम नहीं करेगा, right? Because हमारा client और server अलग अलग काम करेंगे. जब वो अलग अलग काम करते हैं, when they deal separately, so this is how it happens. आपको independent calls करनी पड़ती हैं. Okay, so something like this. I'm making the fetch request. Okay, let's see. So okay, this is the fetch request. Then comes, okay, not this. Then we have the type. Okay, so then we have the type. We say patch. Okay, then we have the type. We say patch. Let's put a wait here because it's asynchronous function. Okay, remember async await, and we have to mark this function as async here also. Okay, let's pass the headers also. So we'll learn fetch, making fetch request also. Okay, so this is a bit different from how we did it till now. Okay, so we need to learn about the headers and all those kind of things. Okay, so what is the header exactly which is required? So headers, okay, and so type is required, header is required. So type is required, then header is required. Okay, not type, I guess it's method, right? Yes, it's method. So and for the header, let's come to here. We'll get more information from this. Now, what are headers exactly? Anyone want to explain what is headers? What are headers and why they are used? Okay. So basically, headers are extra information which is going with our request. Okay. So basically, headers are extra information which go along with our request. For example, what kind of data I accept. Okay. What is the encoding of my data? Is it compressed or not? Okay. If there are some cookies, we'll study about cookies also. Okay, we'll see how we can set and retrieve cookies and what are the use of cookies exactly. What is the host? So host is our obviously the host, then referrer, and then lots of things like the user agent. User agent means whoever is making the request. So we see that Chrome is making the request, right? Okay, and okay, so we do not have that header. So this request be processed. I guess no. We need to include that www.url encoded. But anyways, let's have a look at this. If this works, then we'll make it. Otherwise, we'll change it. Okay, and Obviously, so we are getting hitting this. When we hit the request, will be triggering a re-render. Okay, so let me replace these two things. Okay, so I will say comment this part. Okay, now we have our button to create the request. We'll say uh, accept appointment. Okay, accept appointment, and this is going to take on click. Okay, this is going to take on click. I hope you guys remember the first time we made an XHR call, right? So this is what we did. Okay, then we have change appointment status. Well, let me copy this completely. I guess a change appointment status. Okay, and okay, so will we achieve this here or we have to pass this? I doubt this will work here. Um, I really doubt this. But anyways, let's see if this works. Otherwise, okay, it will not work here because this is a for loop. Okay, and we have to supply the appointment ID separately. I cannot do this at this point, right? So I have to supply the appointment ID separately. Okay, so I have to call with this. I need to supply this first, and then we have to supply either accepted or rejected. So accepted. Okay, and this is going to be a string as well. Okay, so these both are needed at this point. Okay, the status and the appointment ID exactly. Okay, so and obviously we have to do this. So nowadays, most of the time, it happens something like this. Okay, so this is how we. So instead of rendering pages, we have our front end setup. Okay, and there is a common folder for making get request, post request, and all those kind of things. Okay, and we guys just like use that function in our complete application. So this is how it is working nowadays. Okay, and the same thing will be doing here also. Okay, I hope it makes sense. Then we have a button next. So this is for accepted, and then we will have for rejected. Okay, and also the function call will contain a console so that we keep on monitoring if you're getting the current appointment ID and the status. Okay, I hope it will work now. Let's check it out. Also, let me change this path to get to patch request. Where was the path? The path for the appointment. Okay, this is what REST API tells, right? So this is what REST API tells. It means that we can achieve the patch type of request with GET also. Okay, but that is not REST API we have, right? So we have like patch, put, delete for different operations. Okay, and we will be using that itself. Okay, so I have sent the request. Okay, so it is getting the data, but it says it cannot find the URL. And why is that? Do I need to use the absolute URL? Okay, let me check it out. Okay, so this did it. Okay, then status was accepted. Okay, so this indeed went through, um, but this did not happen. So request.patch, this did not happen. Okay, okay. Okay, the point is we are able to make the request. The status is changed. Okay, and not accept. Second will be the reject appointment. Where is our EGS? So first is accept. Second is reject appointment. Okay, you also have reject appointment. So patch is working fine. That is for sure. Okay, no issues with that. But the point is we are need a refresh over here, right? Okay, so if I just remove this part, if I reject it, okay, so it says rejected. Okay, and this status should be changed, right? So this accepted should be changed, and yes, it is changing. It means database changes are done, but the point is a response dot redirect is not working because it's not. So it is now patch request, right? So we cannot do this anymore. We have to think for some other way. So we cannot do now response dot. We cannot do response dot redirect. So when we are making a fetch request, so what is the way we identify on the backend that like we are making a get link or fetch request? What is the way? Is there any way we can identify the request that it is made through fetch? Okay. Okay, let's see. So identify fetch request on Node.js. Okay, so let's see. What is the string is fetch API calling a Node.js. Okay, okay. So request dot ow. Okay, 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 okay. So request dot get we are getting the do you have any ways we can do this one? Not the node fetch. So node fetch will is a library to make a request through the backend. Okay, so backend can also make this request. Okay, let me check if I can do something. So fetch will be working. The headers we send from this one. Okay, can we pass some custom headers? By this we can identify on the backend. Passing custom headers. Okay, so okay, let's see this part. So supplying the request option. So method we have done. Okay, mode we do not require for now. Content type not required. Mm, can I get custom header? Or we have another way. Okay, so we have other way to do this. Okay, so let's create one more folder in the route itself, and name this folder. I will name this folder as okay v1. Then I will create one more folder inside this. which will be named as API. Okay, V1 for version and like API for APIs, right? Then I will say not this exactly. We need to create a folder first. So let's create a folder for a point. Okay, so for a point, and okay, then we can simply say that. So setting up routes separately for your front end will be another part of your task. Like the project you have on the, like the Codel projects, you have to do the same thing over there also. So we do this so that we have separate routes for what you can say, like the connected. So when your client and server are on the same like on the same server, okay, so they are running on the same server, and we make APIs when we have both on the different server, so that both endpoints are separate. I can use the same API, okay, I can modify the same API for this task, but that would be like either you run that or either you run this. So instead of doing this, we have independent, like we are independent to create as many routes as possible. So we'll use that as a leverage, and we'll be creating our own APIs which will be dealing separately. Okay, so which will be dealing separately. Okay, so let's see this part. What I will do is I will say v1 API appoint. Okay, and inside the point I will have one index.js, which will be looking like similar to whatever we had till now. Okay, but little bit of different, and the controllers will remain the same. So no change in the controller, just the APIs we are going to set up. Okay, so just have a close look. You have to do, like we have to do the same thing in the lectures, like the assignment we have. Okay, so this is what we'll be doing. We require this, and also we have to require for this part also. Okay, so let's just save this. We'll get errors. Okay, we got the error. Then we have this thing in common. Let's copy this part, paste it here. Okay, module dot exports, module dot exports is equals to router. Okay, also we need to create some routes. So coming from v1, then after v1, so okay, we need to have this. Let's save this part in v1. Let's create a new file, index.js, and we'll say that router dot use. So how to set up a new router? So this is how we do. Okay, set up route, create the folders, then you use router dot use. So v1 is done slash API. Okay, we will require okay the API path. Okay, let's copy the same thing, go to APIs, create a new file over here also. Okay, have the same thing, okay, what we had here. Then we have slash v1 slash APIs, then we have a point. Okay, so this is where we reach, and obviously we have slash a point, and finally we will have our routes over here. Okay, now here we will say a router dot patch. Okay, router dot patch, and whatever we were having basically inside this route. So these are own set of routes which are independent of these. Okay, so these has nothing to do with this route, and we'll see how we can link the controller. So we'll create our own version of APIs. Now why this is important, we'll dig a bit deeper in that. Okay, so just wait a minute, and let's just quickly run this function. Okay, then we'll discuss more about it. What's the higher use case? Okay, and then we have the change appointment. It says that change appointment is not found. Obviously it's not found. Okay, and we have this, so we'll call it change appointment v1. Okay, so let's have the change in name also. In the controllers we can separate this also. Okay, but yeah, let it be, let it be for the controllers. Not have much of a change over here. So now instead of doing the change, okay, so this is change appointment, right? So this is what setting up the status. Okay, change appointment, and then we have v1, right? Okay, so instead of doing response dot redirect, we'll do response dot json. Okay, response dot json. Then we have our message appointment status changed successfully. Okay, appointment status changed successfully. Then I will be passing the appointment body. Okay, so let's pass the appointment over here also. Okay, so this is change appointment v1. Let's come over here, apply the change appointment v1. Okay, that is it. I guess no issues now. Yep, so it's running fine. Okay, so the new route will be v1. Okay, so v1 slash API, v1 slash API, okay, slash appoint, v1 slash API slash appoint. Not exactly here. So v1 slash API slash appoint slash set status, and then we are having this. Okay, I guess this should be working fine now. So status equals to status, and we are getting all of the things over here. Change the status v1. Okay, let's see the route, and let's see the. So we should be getting this message now instead of getting the error. Okay, so let's check it now. So we'll make the request again. We'll remove this part. Okay, and let's do. Okay, so we had error in the first place itself. What does it say? It says that profile v1 API appoint set status not found. Okay, so something wrong with the endpoints or what? So profile. Oh, okay. Now since we have created uh, a relative one, so it is like taking up the URL, but we do not need the URL exactly. You need to put the absolute path here. Okay, so we have to put the absolute path here. So HTTP localhost 8000 v1, then APIs, then okay. Let's hit it again. Okay, we'll do that later. So I can see that I am successfully able to make the request. Okay, and I'm getting this status. I'm getting the preview. So appointment status changed successfully. So this is the appointment I wanted, and I have set it to rejected. I can set to accepted. Okay, let's check it one. again, so we have accepted over here. And so you'll be seeing like, sir, this is not updated. Okay, so let's update this part also. So we have the appointment ID here too. Okay, so we have the appointment ID here too, the ID we see. Now if I just go on here and check for this appointment, so I'll get a div. Okay, so I'll get a div, and inside this we have our this status. So we can give this span the ID. Okay, so we can give this span this ID, appointment ID. So you'll notice one more thing over here. Okay, we'll talk about it next, and why we are learning exactly. Okay, so if we are able to make the request with anchor tag and post, then what's the exactly the need here? Okay, that's the point. So we have the appointment ready over here, then the ID is here, which will be unique throughout the document. Okay, so let's say that let response is equals to this. Then we have our, and we do not need any header, so we can just replace this. Okay, method is there itself. Let's close this one. Okay, all right. Then we have response, and we will need to pass this response to JSON. Okay, so let parsed response is equals to await a response dot JSON. Okay, so past response we have got, and we will find this span in our page, and we'll set the status to whatever the current status is. Okay, so I need to find this span in my page. Okay, and I want to change the status using JavaScript. So how should I proceed? I have the appointment ID in the, like, I have the appointment ID as the ID of my span. So how can I change the content of my span using JavaScript? So think in terms of DOM, like fetching the element, changing things, manipulating the DOM. What should be done here? Okay, and also we are getting the past response over here. Okay, now if I check my response exactly, okay, so if I check my response, whatever I'm getting here after my successful patch request, I'm getting the appointment ID here also. Okay, so I can get the appointment underscore ID, and I can fetch this span. Okay, so what I can do here is I can fetch this span, like let status span is equals to document dot get element by ID. Okay, and the ID would be basically the ID would be basically whatever response we are getting dot appointment dot colon ID, right? Based on whatever span we are getting over here, based on whatever span we get over here, I just need to change its text. So I will say status span dot inner text. Okay, so I will change the inner text to whatever I'm having in my parse response appointment dot status. Okay, let's check this out. So currently it's accepted. Let's reject this part. Okay, we did fire this up, but did anything happen, or do we have any issues? Okay, so you are getting appointment over here. Okay, then let's. If I just see. Okay, we see this now. Let me do a quick refresh. Okay, so this is for rejected. Okay, in case of accept, it's not doing it correctly. And why is that? I'm changing the status in both of the time, right? Okay. Oh, okay. So looks like there we have a trouble. So if I reject this exactly, so this is getting rejected. Okay, and I do accept it. Okay, so status. Okay, the point is we have some issues in the backend, not in the front end, I guess. And this is working fine, I guess then. Okay, so we'll have a look at that point. But yeah, the point is, what do we observe? What is the main difference we are getting? Okay, what is the main difference we are getting? If I use the fetch request instead of like going with the page refresh thing, so what is the main thing I'm getting over here? What's the good thing I'm getting? I see that I do not have any page refresh, right? I do not have to refresh my page every time. Whatever components I require, that is only changing. Guys, are you getting the point? So remember what XHR used to do. So whatever, so instead of refreshing your complete page, like if I go through anchor tag, so there is a refresh for sure. Or if I submit a form, there's a refresh for sure. But if I go with the fetch API, I do not have to go through the refresh and all those things. I hit the request, I get the response. That is it. Is it clear, guys? Okay. And I guess it would be working for the same. This reject thing, I guess there's some issue with the update API. We'll have a look at it. Okay. And okay, so why versioning? Why I have given version 1, version 2 to the APIs? Any guesses? Any real life example you guys have gone through? You see, like our mobile apps get updated, like from let's say version 4.6 to 4.7, 4.8, something, something. Okay, so the update is both on the UI side and the backend side, right? So suppose that, uh, okay, so you will say, sir, directly change the routes, but is that the case? Like every user will update their application in the like at the same time? That is not the case, right? So some people update their application, but some do not update their application. For example, let's take example of this only. So I have two types of route over here. Okay, I have two different types of routes. One route is for EJS. Let's say let it be the older route types. But if I see, I also I also have a new kind of route with me, version 1 API. So I can support two version of with a single backend. Okay, I do not need to create two different backends for this. So if people are using older application, that will also work. If people are using the newer application, that will also work. We can have different set of front ends. Okay, So let it be EJS, let it be React, Angular, and whatever else. So they are, React, Angular, everything will connect, like contact to different routes. They do not have to contact with the same route every time. And same we can do for controllers also. But yeah, like it's okay. It's totally the design choice. If you want to keep the controller at the same place, you can have it here. To maintain the like so if to maintain the features, okay, we have different versions of API. Like ऐसा ना हो like if there is a new version launched, so old users like use ही नहीं कर पा रहे. So that's not the case, right? So this is what we do, versioning of our routes. So you can create, keep on creating folders and do this, okay. But this point, I'm not doing any redirect or something. मैंने सिर्फ response.json भेजा, ठीक है. Not rendering anything, just the response.json thing, and that is working. Okay. Uh, so functionalities wise, I guess most of the things are done. Not all of the things. Most of the things are done. So next thing which we are going to learn is authentication. Okay, so it will take 2 3 classes. Okay, because it itself a very important topic. Okay, so firstly we'll be learning about cookies, maintaining sessions, okay, and authenticate our pages. For example, if I see my page, so this is doctor's profile, right? Let me copy this. Okay, I just copied this like path. I go here. I do not have to log in, right? If I just get the doctor profile ID, I can easily enter the profile. But this is not the case in the sites, right? We have some security mechanism securing the pages and all those sort of things. Like routes are secured. So how that thing will be configured? Okay, we'll do this. Okay, let's do one more thing. Okay, one last thing before we wrap up for today. Setting cookies, and what are cookies? Setting cookies using Express.js. Now, cookies are feature of browser. Okay, so in the browser we have cookies. You can just open inspect, head on to application for any website you have. Okay, for any website you have, you can find these cookies. Even for our document also, you can just go to application. You have this something as local storage over here, then we have something called as session storage. We'll see how, like what are these. Okay, and we haven't used it yet, but we'll use it. Then we have this okay, I don't know like where it came. I guess from some other application it is there. So we can send cookies. Okay, cookies are basically data which will be using for different purpose. One of the main purposes for authentication. Okay, and why is that? Why we'll be using cookies? Imagine just one thing. So um, I'm saying that every route for doctors, for example, accepting appointment, generating a report, opening the profile page, each will require authentication. So do we have to log in every time we perform a route? Is that a good way? Like every time we see a form, so this is how it works, or there's some other way? Okay. Yes. So what we do, we log in once and we can do any operation we want, right? But the point is, we have learned that HTTP is stateless. So how is the backend knowing that this is the user who is making the request? This is the correct user who is making the request. Yes, it means that there is some storage being used. So that is storage, and obviously that is storage, not the server exactly. Okay, so we don't have anything at the server. Server will never have anything. Okay, so whatever we have, whoever whatever the client is, so client has to do this. In our case, client is the browser, and browser has these kind of features associated with it: cookies, sessions, and all those. Local storage will not use. We'll use the cookies. Okay, and we have lots of things in the cookies itself. So the domain is there, expiry date is there. Okay, so we have expiry date, size, and all those sort of things are there. Okay, so okay, and also one more thing. So do not want to set this directly. Spons.cookies. I do not want to set this directly. Spons.cookie. Okay, let's do this. Let's try it once. So before I log in, so where is the doctor profile page? Doctors. Okay, so we are rendering over here, right? So if I say response dot, okay, response dot cookie, the name is there. Let's say ID, and the value we can pass as doctor dot underscore ID. Okay, let's name it user ID. Save this part. Let's hit the request for doctor profile. Okay, we can hit this and check it out. The same thing. Okay, so see that we are setting up the doctor's ID over here, right? So you are getting this over here. Something is there. Okay, we'll check this part, and since we have the doctor ID over here, so for the next time I can use the same thing. Okay. Okay, so let's see this in the next session. We'll do some like authentication. We'll see manual authentication. Then we'll be using a package. I hope you guys already know about the package. Otherwise, we'll see this. Okay. Also, I will just upload this. Okay, not upload this. Push this to GitHub. Okay. So git def. So git def gives you whatever code we have added till now. Okay, so I can check that later. Git add. Okay, it won't permit me. Let's do sudo commit minus m added v1 APIs. Okay, and I will just git push this. Okay, so I have pushed this one, and here is the link. Just go through it once. Okay, try to explore, try to add something, and we'll meet day after tomorrow. Okay, guys. Bye. Oh, okay. Just a minute. Attendance. That is most important thing. That is one of the important thing. So today we have 13th. Okay. Copy link, and okay. Please mark your attendance. Okay, and let's meet day after tomorrow.